Hi guys, it's Mango and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to watch the brilliant Peter Jackson receive his much deserved honorary Palme d'Or award. So let's get started. Jackson's going to receive his honorary Palme d'Or award tonight, a Lifetime Achievement Award which recognizes his massive contribution to cinema from his early cult classics to the world-building mastery of Middle-earth.
Merci d'accueillir celui qui a tourné plus de 9 heures de film avec lui, l'acteur et producteur Elijah Wood.
Highlight of tonight's ceremony is the huge surprise appearance by Elijah Wood, Frodo himself, to honor his longtime friend and collaborator Peter Jackson.
Bonsoir and Tena Katoa Katoa. I was 18 years old when I first met Peter Jackson. He had come to Los Angeles with Fran Walsh to audition actors for an ambitious new project. They had seen a VHS tape I'd made with friends in the woods of Griffith Park, and now they wanted to meet the young man who had sent it. I walked into Victoria Burrows' casting office, and there they were, Pete and Fran, together as they'd been for almost every day since they'd first met sometime in the late 80s. And when, a little while later, the call came that I was going to be Frodo Baggins, I sat down on the floor of my bedroom, and I understood with the whole of my being that my life had just been divided into before and after. And I know I'm far from the only person who has their life changed by Peter Jackson. Peter grew up in Pukarua Bay, in a country that back then barely had a film industry at all. But in true Pete fashion, that was not about to hold him back. With his wages from a job as a photo engraver, he bought a second-hand Bolex camera and started to make a film called Bad Taste with his friends on weekends. Everything was handmade. He built his own Steadicam for $15, baked alien masks in his mother's kitchen oven, and, as legend has it, for 4 years the Jackson family ate sausages for dinner every night because the oven was occupied. And from those handmade and perhaps slightly obsessive beginnings came one of the great cinematic careers of our time. One that never lost the feeling of being crafted by hand, always intimate, immediate, and full of soul. Before the world knew him as the director of The Lord of the Rings, Pete made films like Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, Brain Dead, and The Frighteners. Films that were hilarious, strange, bloody, and, of course, entirely unmistakable. But then came Heavenly Creatures. And suddenly, the world saw something else, too. Here was a filmmaker who could hold tenderness and horror in the same frame and make you understand that they had never really been separate things to begin with. That was the path that ultimately led to Middle-earth. And when Peter returned here to the Cannes Film Festival in 2001 to screen footage from The Lord of the Rings for the very first time, I still remember the electric feeling in the room. For decades, Tolkien's work had been called unadaptable. But after that day, well, the rest is history. What I remember most from making those films was not the scale, but the atmosphere, the community of creators, craftspeople around him, and the culture of collaboration that Pete built. For 16 months, I watched him make impossible decisions every single day with a remarkable sense of calm, somehow carrying the architecture of 3 enormous films in his mind at once. And despite the massive scope of those films, everything still felt handmade. Because Pete has always understood that technology means nothing unless it carries humanity inside it. You feel that in King Kong. You feel it in The Lovely Bones. You feel it in They Shall Never Grow Old and Get Back. Every film is technically astonishing, but underneath all the innovation is always the same thing: heart. And of course, none of this exists without Fran Walsh, Pete's great love and creative partner, nor without Philippa Boyens, Richard Taylor, Weta Workshop, and the extraordinary community of artists that they have cultivated together in Wellington. What Pete has contributed to the world is so much bigger than a filmography. He helped build an entirely new filmmaking culture at the far edge of the world. And the Peter Jackson I know is still, underneath everything, the kid with the Bolex camera and the kitchen oven. The kid who was told there was no film industry where he lived and decided that sounded less like a fact and more like a challenge. When I was just 18 years old, The Lord of the Rings was not just the beginning of Frodo's journey, but the beginning of my own. So Pete, I truly have no words to thank you for that. All these years ago, in this very place, you showed the world something it had never seen before, and nothing was ever the same.
And a well-deserved standing ovation. I can't wait to hear his speech.
It is my profound honor. Oh, Pete. It is my profound honor to present the honorary Palme d'Or of the 79th Festival de Cannes to my friend, director, and one of the great filmmakers of our time, Sir Peter Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Elijah, how long have we known each other?
27 years?
27 years.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you've finally grown a little bit of facial hair. I mean, I know that for decades you've been trying.
It's true.
And it's really kind of cool. It's the Clark Gable look. It's,
Thank you.
If somebody does a remake of Gone with the Wind, Rhett Butler could be your role. It's great. So thank you for the Cannes Film Festival for this very unexpected and miraculous award, I would say, because the Palme d'Or is something I never ever thought I would win, ever, because I don't make Palme d'Or sort of films. So so this is an absolute stunning surprise and an incredible honour. I've only been to Cannes twice before, but the two times that I've come have been absolutely milestones in my career. As Elijah said, I made this movie, Bad Taste. I was a photo engraver, and I made it during the weekends over 4 years. And then, when it was finished, the film commission, the New Zealand Film Commission, brought it here to sell, and I came along. So, from a photo engraver in New Zealand to Cannes, in one step, was kind of an absolute mind-blowing thing. Now, if Bad Taste hadn't sold in the marketplace particularly well, I would have gone back to New Zealand and back to my photo engraving job. But fortunately, thanks to the wonderful marketplace here at the time, it sold really well. I think it sold to 50 countries. So I left New Zealand as a photo engraver, and I went home as a filmmaker. And that was the absolute thing that started my career. And then the second time I came, so the Bad Taste was like 38 years ago. And the second time was 25 years ago, when we had shot Lord of the Rings over like 3 years, 2.5 or 3 years. And we shot all 3 films at the same time. And the press was sort of weird because it was a strange time, because Warner's was being sold. Just what goes round comes round. Warner's was being sold at the time, and so all the press was sort of talking about this great folly. What happens if the first film fails? What are they going to do with films number 2 and 3? Because they're already made. Really, it was a huge gamble on Uline's behalf. But all the media was talking about the failure. The gamble was going to fail. So the first film, Fellowship of the Ring, was going to come out in December 2001. And so we just finished shooting in December 2000. So we had a year of post-production to do. And very early in that year, about February, Bob Shaye decides that he wants to have 20 minutes of finished a film to screen here at Cannes, because he wants to change the press's sort of negative stories that were going out. And the only way to do that was to screen a bigger chunk of the film, and he wanted to change that well before the film was due to come out. Bob Shea rolled the dice, and so we had to quickly finish 20 minutes of film really fast, do all the effects, compose on a score. And so we bought that 20 minutes here in 2001 in May, and the result was great. We did some press in a castle up on the hill, didn't we? I mean, God knows it must have been expensive to hire that. But anyway, they hired the castle. There was a party there, and Bob's great gamble really changed the perception of the film. So and for me, obviously, it was for me a life-changing thing. So by the time that the film came out in December, there was a sort of an anticipation that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for Cannes. So those 2 trips to Cannes that I've made over the years have been absolutely groundbreaking for me, and I think this is the 3rd one, which is going to be equally a equal milestone. So. So I obviously want to thank Fran Walsh, who we've been together for 40 years now, and she's written most of the films I've made and produced them, and Philippa Boyens co-written them too. But Fran has also produced Billy and Katie, our two kids who are down there. Possibly her best thing that she's ever produced, I would say. And Billy and Katie have been fantastically supportive. They've had to, their entire lives have been mummy and daddy making films, which is sometimes not very easy, but they've turned out to be fairly well balanced kids, I think, most of the time. and Ken Cammons and Peter Nelson, who have been there to support me along the way. And obviously, looking at those clips, I could only think of the thousands of people that helped make those movies. And so thank you very much. And I still didn't, I haven't been able to figure out why I'm getting a Palme d'Or, because I'm just not a Palme d'Or sort of a guy. But I did wake up this morning with a realization. You know when you wake up and suddenly everything's clear. And this morning I thought, oh, of course, I get it. That this is the Cannes Film Festival's way of apologising for not giving Bad Taste the Palme d'Or back in 1988. And so with that spirit, I very much accept this award. And thank you very, very much. Thank you.
What an amazing and funny speech by Peter Jackson. He highlighted the importance of Cannes in his life, even though he's only been there 3 times, and thanked everyone that helped him make brilliant movies that we all love. Hi guys, it's Mango and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be translating French and explaining what's going on in the opening ceremony. So let's get started.
Sur l'écran noir de mes nuits blanches.
Our host tonight is Ai Haidera, and she's a very well-known actress and comedian in France.
Chère présidente, Iris Knobloch, cher délégué général, Thierry Frémaux, chers invités ici présents, chers téléspectateurs et chers internautes partout dans le monde. Enfin, partout où l'Internet n'a pas été coupé. Partout où l'intelligence artificielle ne s'est pas substituée à la réalité. Enfin, à vous toutes et tous qui tentez de résister ici et ailleurs, bonsoir et bienvenue. Il paraît que c'est dans l'angoisse que l'homme prend conscience de sa liberté. Je peux vous dire que là, moi, je suis en pleine conscience de la mienne. Ce mélange de joie, de trac, le cœur qui bat fort. Le privilège d'être là aussi, car s'il y a un endroit qui continue de nous unir, de nous rapprocher, c'est ici. C'est Cannes. C'est le cinéma. Le seul endroit où un film coréen peut bouleverser une spectatrice brésilienne. Le seul endroit où un Suédois fait d'une avalanche française sa plus belle ascension. Le seul endroit où la fable d'un Iranien perce le mur de l'indifférence. Parce que ces histoires qui résonnent là, au creux de notre poitrine, dessinent à elles seules toute l'humanité. Parce qu'elles disent « Regarde, voilà comment on vit ici. Voilà ce qu'on ressent ici. Voilà ce qu'on espère ici. » Et pour tout ça, saluons ensemble tous les cinéastes en compétition et hors compétition. Pendant 11 jours, ils vont se mettre à nu et offrir au monde des œuvres nées au plus profond d'eux-mêmes, portées avec ambition, façonnées dans la fragilité, défendues avec courage, enivrés par les applaudissements. Le temps d'une soirée, ils seront au sommet, ils seront les rois. Le temps d'une soirée. Parce que le lendemain, ils liront les critiques. Il y aura les chaleureuses, évidemment. Un film qui ose tout et qui touche au sublime. Celle qui caresse. Une odeur de palme sur la croisette. Et puis la classique. Notre palme du cœur. Bon, alors là, globalement, on est content, hein. On aime, on like, on partage. Et puis, viendra la critique savante. Vous savez, celle qu'on accueille avec un sourire mais qu'on n'a pas vraiment comprise. Le film organise une porosité topographique des espaces sociaux où la verticalité devient le vecteur d'une contamination symbolique des classes. C'est une vraie, hein. Et puis naturellement, la cinglante, celle qui fait mal. Le film pose une question majeure. Pourquoi le générique de fin n'est-il pas plus proche de celui du début? Bon, alors celle-là, on l'encaisse, on respire et on avance. Godard, qui avait une phrase pour tout, disait « On ne fait pas un film pour être prudent. » Aussi, je voudrais rendre hommage à ceux qui choisissent de filmer ce qu'on préférait ne pas voir. Ceux qui, à travers leurs films, nous rappellent que la vie est précieuse. Toute vie. Celle du héros et celle de l'anonyme. Celle du puissant et celle de l'invisible. Mais je ne voudrais pas oublier ceux qui choisissent de faire rire. Rire, c'est une forme de courage qu'on sous-estime toujours un peu. Parce que si au cinéma j'ai vu mon père pleurer,